Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me again. So in this video, I'm going to make an art journal. So I'm just starting out with using a cereal box and I'm just cutting all the sides off the cereal box. Um, Everything that I've used for this art journal, I had in my craft area and around the house. So it made it a really cheap art journal for me because I already had everything. So I'm just going to get out my paper trimmer here and I'm just going to trim it to 6.5 from the first middle crease because I'm using watercolor paper in my art journal and the watercolor paper is 6.5 by, no, sorry, it's 6.25 by 8.25. So my finished art journal is going to be the outside 6.5 by 8.5. So then I find that it's too big to fit under there to cut it for the 8.5. So I am just going to use a ruler and my craft knife and I am just going to cut it to 8.5. So I'm just doing the measurements here. I had a lot of fun making this journal. It was quite simple to do as well. So here I am just lining everything up, making sure that I'm going to do everything straight. And then doing the bottom one. There we go. And I'm just going to get my craft knife and I'm just going to cut down the two sides. And I didn't cut all the way through, so I'm just going to grab my scissors and then I'm just going to cut the rest of it up. Excuse my voice, I have a cold. And actually, when you watch part 2, you'll see that I have a cup of tea next to me because when the next night after I did this over 2 nights, I could feel my throat going scratchy. So I knew I was getting sick with a cold though, so it's not a big deal. I'm feeling all right. So here we go. I'm just cutting the other side off. And again, I'm just going to trim it off with the scissors. And that side's done. So then that's my inserts for the inside. So I'm just making sure it's the right size, and it is. So now I'm just going to trim off this little bit of extra here. There we go. I've got it looking nice now. And now I'm just going to grab some really cheap gesso that I got from from Michael's. And I used a coupon and I believe it was like $3 or $4 for this bottle of gesso. And it's a pretty good bottle of gesso, I must admit. I just want to use it to tone down the colors of the cereal box. And I've filled it up with gesso. And now I'm just going to grab my heat gun and I'm just going to dry that. It dried relatively quickly too, which was nice. And then I'm just going to flip it over. And I'm just going to gesso the inside as well. There we go. And then again, I'm just going to heat emboss that side too. And there, that part's all done. So now I'm going to get some Mod Podge. And I'm just going to quickly mix this up and get it ready. Because I haven't used my Mod Podge in like 3 years. There we go. I'm just going to mix it up. And then I'm just going to put it on the art journal. And then what I'm going to do is I've got this brown paper that I got from Dollarama when I bought some mason jars. They wrapped them up for me. So I've kept it. And I'm just adding this to add some more structure to the art journal. Then also it adds a really nice texture when I paint on top of it. And add some sturdiness to it as well. So I've just used a brayer to get all the air pockets out. And then I'm just going to trim it around the edges. Oh no, sorry. First I'm going to glue down the corners that I missed. And use the brayer to stick those back down. There we go. And then I'm going to trim around the edges. And then I'm just going to put, oh no, I'm going to keep trimming. And then I'm going to put my Mod Podge down the top and the bottom. And I'm going to glue the edges over and use the brayer again to smooth it all out. There we go. And I'm going to do the same for the sides. Oh, first I'm going to cut the corners on an angle just so that it lays nicely when I fold it over. There we go. Now I'm going to put Mod Podge on the side. I'm going to glue that over. And same thing, I'm just going to use the brayer and I'm going to smooth it all down. And then I'm going to do the same for the other side. Perfect. There we go. And get the brayer and just lay it all down. And then what I'm going to do is just make sure that I get the crease in there still with the paper on the back. And I'm going to Mod Podge the inside. Pull my hair out of the Mod Podge. Just making sure that also that's going to stick down well too around the outside. And then I've got another piece of the brown paper and I'm just going to trim it first because it's a bit too big. And then I'm going to try to line up at least two of the edges, the top and the side edge. There we go. Smooth it all down and then I'm going to grab the brayer, get out all the air pockets again. And then I'm just going to pull up that piece of Stampin' Up! Grid paper because it's got glue on it before I put it down. And I'm going to cut the brown paper flush to the edge of the journal here. There's one edge and then the other edge. There we go. Just trim it up a little bit, make sure it's nice and neat on the sides. Then I'm going to get, I'm going to clean up my Mod Podge brush. Make sure I put the lid back on so I don't knock it over, because knowing me, I probably would do that. Then I'm going to get some paint. And this is just Dollar Tree paint that I start off with here. It's a really nice blue color. I'm just going to plate to put it on. And when I start laying down the paint, it's very, very thin. And it's not exactly the blue that I wanted it to be. So you'll see here, I paint the whole cover with the blue paint. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some white that I got from the Dollarama. And I'm going to use the same brush that I used for the gesso. And I'm going to paint that over top. And that comes out like a really, really pale blue when I do that. And then I'm going to get the dark blue and I'm going to put some streaks back in. Because what I loved when I was putting that white on is the little ripples in the paper picked up the blue, the darker blue, and kind of let it sit in the lines. And then I'm going to get my heat gun and I'm going to dry it all. There we go. And then I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the inside. So I'm going to get my darker blue, which is now kind of white from painting, it's lighter from painting over the dark blue on the front. And I'm going to paint over the white. And then I'm going to do the dark blue again. And then I'm going to dry it with the heat gun afterwards again. So I'm just adding some more streaks of dark blue into it, making sure I like the color that it's becoming. This is the inside as well. There we go, and I'm going to grab the heat gun and I'm going to dry this all up. There we go. So that's it for part 1 for this video. If you want to see part 2 and see how the rest of it came out, click on part 2. Thank you. Bye.